Hi, my name is Hannah Kate, and I chose Eleanor Roosevelt as my influential woman. During the beginning of the 20th century, Eleanor Roosevelt was a household name that many women strived to be like. While many people only knew her as the wife of President Franklin D. Roosevelt, Eleanor Roosevelt strived to shed light on the so-called daily duties of women at this time. Over the years following the death of President Roosevelt, Eleanor became an important asset to the United Nations and to the fight for all human rights. While Eleanor Roosevelt is a commonly known name, many people don't know what her life was like before becoming a First Lady. Anna Eleanor Roosevelt, commonly known as Eleanor, grew up in New York City with her two parents and her one living brother until her parents both died when she was 10 years old. After her parents died, she was then raised by relatives. When she was about 12 or 13, she went to an all-girls boarding school in London. Her very first teacher that she had was one of the people who gave her an interest in society and the excellence that came with that. In 1905, Eleanor had moved back to the United States, and she met and married her distant cousin, Franklin Roosevelt, whom she later had 6 children with. Franklin Roosevelt soon ran for office in the New York Senate, and after years of different office positions throughout the country, in 1933, Roosevelt took the presidency office. Eleanor Roosevelt was able to accomplish a few things while being the First Lady, but was mainly known for her accomplishments that followed the death of her husband, Franklin Roosevelt, in 1945. Influential accomplishments done by Eleanor Roosevelt, such as the My Day column, in which she highlighted the daily activities of being a woman in the 1930s, and the routines and duties of the United States First Lady. She was a sought-out speaker at many different events, such as child welfare, housing reform, and civil rights for both minorities and women. When President Harry S. Truman asked her to be a delegate to the United Nations, she was very happy to accept. From 1946 until 1951, she was a chairman of the Commission of Human Rights. And then, in 1961, she became the chairman of the Commission of the Status of Women. Due to the incredible accomplishments made by Eleanor Roosevelt, many women have looked up to her and used her for inspiration over the last century. Eleanor Roosevelt kept women interested in the changing factors of the New Deal era, which had started around the time of her husband's presidency. She stood out as a woman who was not afraid to be a part of the politics in D.C. and was actually actively being a part of it and trying to get people to learn and understand everything. She gave women the development of being a feminist and an activist in the early 20th century and showed everybody that minorities and women were all going to get the rights that they deserved. In conclusion, Eleanor Roosevelt was one of the first women who was a real part of the politics within the United Nations and leading many different organizations that helped to show the world the importance of civil rights for both minorities and women, and the reform of welfare and children and housing and education. While Eleanor Roosevelt gave women such an inspiration, Oprah Winfrey, our next influential female who will be spoken about, also was very inspirational and influential to women in more recent times as she came about more recently. Thank you so much.